Thank you. The question was about the pension assessment and why there's a 6% increase in the assessment, whereas in the private sector that doesn't necessarily happen. I think other things happen in the private sector which are worse than that, but that's besides the point. Until the fire chief was hired, before the mid-'80s, employees that worked for town and government didn't pay anything into their pension. It was part of the benefit structure that governments needed to attract people to work for local government, and they got really good health insurance, and they got a pension plan, and they didn't have to pay anything well, they had to pay a little bit for the health insurance and nothing for pension. In the late '80s, they changed it to you have to pay 5%. And then when I was hired in the early 2000s, you had to start paying 11%. And now all employees pay 11%. But there are people that are in the pension system that didn't contribute, not because they didn't want to, because they didn't have to. And so we need to make sure that we have enough money in the entire pension system, both to cover people that have retired since and the people that retired before they were contributing. And that's a finite number. I mean, we're going to pay off our debt by 2034. At that point, we're going up like this. We're going up like this. At that point, there'll be a dip back down. But we have to get there. We have to pay it off. We've been mandated by the state to pay it off by 2040. And our pension system, which is the Middlesex County retirement system, has a plan in place to pay it off by 2030, 32 or 33. I can't remember exactly, but in any event, that's why. So we have to pay for all the pensions for the existing employees and the former employees, and once we get to that point in the mid-2030s, it'll be just the normal cost of pensions, which will still cost money. We'll still have to contribute as an employer to pensions. The 11% doesn't cover the full freight. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.